Well, hi guys, my name is Christopher Lengyel. I'm the founder of HelpMePTSD.org, and today I'm here with Chris Martin, the owner of Hempful Farms Cafe. Chris, thank you so much for being here. I've known Chris Martin for probably a little over 2 years now, maybe 3 after the first time I met you. It's been a journey knowing Chris and the Martin family and Hempful Farms and Paw Putty and the whole story. All I know is that they've done some outstanding work creating and developing some solid CBD-based products that are all natural, all organic, all these great things that can really help a variety of people with a variety of medical disorders. So Chris, again, thank you for being here today. Why don't you take a little bit of time and introduce yourself to our community. Tell us about where you come from, how you all started this, and where you're at today.
Cool, I appreciate you having us today, Chris. My name is Chris Martin. I'm with Hempful Farms. I created a company called Zonka Bars about 8 years ago. We started making products for patients like myself. I'm a Crohn's patient. I am also a chef, so the transition from cannabis and smoke to edible was very, very easy for me. We started to produce products about the same time that legalization happened here, and we tried to get them consigned into dispensaries, but they didn't quite open yet, and I got raided. During my raid, I spent 4 years fighting my case, and I came up with a hemp line that kind of, one, it kept us relevant, obviously, while I was fighting the case. That paid rent and bills and helped my kids eat, but it also kept doing the same thing that we did when we got into this industry, and that was help people. Right. The CBD exploded. I had a good friend of mine call me up and say, hey, we have a farm in Colorado. We cold press everything. We'd love to supply you with cold press. And we started making lotion and pain patches. And then unfortunately in 2015, I was sentenced to prison for the cannabis charges from 2012. I did 2 years. I was recently released in February, about 6 months ago, almost in a week, it'll be 6 months. And since that time, we've gone public with our pet company, which is Paw Putty Pet Products. We offer an entire equine line, horse line, pet line, cat line. And you're standing in the building now that we're building out. It's 4,000 square feet to produce all of our pet line to scale for the country.
That's awesome. No, that's really great. And I've always been a fan of CBD products. My personal story is I've gotten off 15 pharmaceuticals from switching over to CBD and medical cannabis. I use very low THC amounts when I do, if I do, and mostly I use CBD products because that's what's been able to manage my pain, inflammation, all my gastrointestinal issues that I've been taking other medications for. I've now been able to get rid of all those medications and use this simple plant-based matter, and I don't think I'd ever turn back or want to go back to any pharmaceutical-made drugs. So, the idea behind our show here is that we always try to give different treatment modalities out to our followers and let them know and become aware of all these different natural healing modalities that are available. And CBD and cannabis happens to be one of them for PTSD. There's a lot of research out of Israel that is coming out, and I wish the United States would follow suit with some of these other countries. If you look at India, if you look at Israel, you look at some of the Middle East that are more developed countries, they are all putting multi-million-dollar research into effect on this plant. What can it do? What can the properties do? And they're finding some amazing things.
Something that should have happened a long time ago.
It is. And I think people are warming up to it. If you look at the National Cancer Institute site now, they are actually recommending cannabis use for cancer patients. They won't go and fully endorse the fact that research shows that it reduces tumor size in some cancers, but it is an option that they're definitely now more open to. So I think we're seeing a changing trend in, people accepting cannabis not as reefer madness and, oh my gosh, you're gonna get wasted, and really looking at this as a natural, holistic supplement that you can take to better your life.
Speaking of change, we were contacted by Fox Business yesterday.
Awesome.
Ed Begley Jr. is going to host us on a show next quarter, talking about innovations in this industry. The Series 1 hosted Open Vape, and Series 2 hosts us. So to speak of those changes on not just our scale and our level, but to see it coming down from a corporate level and a national level is really big. And just to even be in those conversations for us is honor. It's an honorable thing for us, and it's just neat to be part of history. I mean, we're really a part of history.
No, and it's amazing. If you want to reach out to Chris and look at some of the products line you have, I know it's Hempful Farms Cafe.com or is it just Hempful Farms? hempfulfarms.com. They have a great list of products on there, from capsules to tinctures to joint and muscle rubs. They've got the paw putty out there for your dogs, your older dogs with the joints. Go on their page on Facebook. Look at the testimonials. Don't believe it from Chris, the owner of the company. Don't believe it from me, the founder of Help Me PTSD. Go hear it from the many people that are willing to put their testimony on your site, which I've read them and they're incredible.
We actually request those instead of offering maybe certain kinds of coupons or whatever. We want testimony. If you give us a testimony, that helps us build that clientele.
Right.
It really helps us build that firepower against the higher entities that want to come down on us.
Right.
Versus us coming out and claiming any kind of medical remedy, this allows you to scroll through and sort through what might fit you. There's so many ailments out there that we don't have answers for. You never know. There might be someone on there that's already been using CBD for quite a while that you can
Has
go
had some experience in that. No, and that's the idea behind even these different cannabis related businesses like Hempful Farms, which is not THC, it's just CBD. There is no THC in their products. And other organizations like mine in the mental health system that need to come together and collaborate and provide quality care and quality medicine for people in general. I think that's all something that every American, every human being, to be honest, in the world deserves healthcare. They deserve to have the best quality treatment, whatever that comes from, whether it's person to person or whether it's a product such as paw putty or some of your other CBD isolate products that you sell. So with the PTSD aspect, I know your story is unique with how the last 2 years has impacted your life. PTSD, a lot of on my heart this last couple of weeks, and just from interacting with my different support groups throughout the month, different people, I've started to really realize a trend of people don't know what PTSD is. People don't know what it looks like. People don't think outside of their little box of, it's the military. It's if you haven't been to war, you don't know what PTSD is. And I stress that that's just not the truth. In a minute here, I'm going to ask Chris to kind of tell you a little bit about some of the things that he went through from a completely different perspective. Not military issue. He wasn't downrange in Afghanistan getting blown up. He wasn't in a domestic violence situation with some other person and got royally beat up. Well, he probably did get beat up a little bit in a different way, but not to the ground and pound domestic violence case that we hear.
By the ones you least expect.
By the ones you least expect. And the idea behind this is, trauma can happen from a car accident. Trauma can happen from a divorce in a family. It can happen from families being torn apart. And what happened to Chris and his family does impact him, his wife, his children, and it does represent PTSD in a completely different way that, a lot of people, a lot of professionals, even in the medical, not all, but some of them would probably, well, you got what you deserved. You put yourself in that situation, and a lot of times we have to think outside of that as clinicians and really look at things at the face value and treat the trauma regardless of the experience that we had.